DJ Spark in the building with a new review of Arctic Monkeys' The Car album. As always, the Arctic Monkeys bring about a unique and fresh sound to their new project. Typically, when we hear new music that's so different from what the band we're listening to typically sounds like, it's met with heavy criticism. But I don't think that will necessarily be the case with this record. The first thing I thought of when I heard this album was that the music production actually sounds like a movie score. To me, it feels like it kind of has the influences of Pink Floyd and Elton John. Sonically, the production of this album does feel more desolate compared to their previous albums, with gloomy yet funky bass lines on songs like I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am and Hello You. And you absolutely cannot talk about this album without mentioning the strings woven in and out of the production like a warm quilt, and the piano on songs like There'd Better Be a Mirrorball and Jet Skis On The Moat and The Car even give feelings of jazz influences. Between the strings and the lead guitar and the piano, they all give the album a vintage feel that do remind me of bands like Pink Floyd and artists like Elton John. You mix all that in with the kind of crooning Alex Turner and you actually have timeless music. I actually believe that the composition of this album stood out the most to me personally, although many would say that its lead singer, Alex Turner. Turner is definitely charming on this album, and his vocals are fantastic. He definitely has a voice that is ageless, but we've known that for a while now. It's authentic and raw and real in every single track, and his vibrato is warm and fuzzy. He remains calm and keeps a constant throughout the record, which really gives it that serene feel that we've heard before, but maybe not throughout a whole Arctic Monkeys project. He even keeps that composure in the song Sculptures of Anything Goes, which is a song with production that is actually way darker than any other song on this album. This song is actually sort of a black sheep of the album, if you will. And you know, Turner does remind me of someone singing in a jazz bar or a lounge or even a ballroom, and that's not a dig at him at all. It's just the way that he delivers his vocals. Singing like this very, very consistently throughout the whole album did have me zone out a few times, as the album did begin to lull me and feel a bit tedious halfway through, and there were a few songs through the meat of the album that I did have to re-listen to because I did zone out a bit. But I think that this is just an album that you just really can't put on like after work at 3 p.m, you know, when it's sunny out. I feel like this is an album where you really have to be in the mood to listen to it. Lyrically, this is a profound album that to me is pretty ambiguous. There are many profound and complex lyrics throughout the album that I feel as though people should maybe read along with the lyrics. And even after re-listening to the album and I was reading along with the lyrics, Arctic Monkeys' way of writing can be very hard to understand sometimes. But that's really the beauty of it, right? They really make you think, and I feel like that is a true form of art. With the themes throughout the album, like heartbreak, successes, art, and the stories they tell, many of the lyrics could be up for interpretation by the audience. Overall, this is an intimate listen. This is an intimate album, and you can especially see that on the song Mr. Schwartz. This song is as intimate as it gets between the vocals, the strings, the acoustic guitar, and you're really hearing this story through the eyes of a celebrity or rock star. One of the main highlights of the album, in my opinion, is actually the final song, Perfect Sense. You could really use your imagination with what you think this track is truly about, but it's one of the most upbeat tracks in the entire project. Obviously, the songwriter is having some fun after a wild night or a show of some sort, but the writer realizes that living fast, of course, can be fun, but life isn't a race, and even though we feel invincible while we're young, that's just not the case. I truly do love the songwriting of Arctic Monkeys from top to bottom. Drums, bass, melodies, harmonies, all the strings they use. The lead guitar is very vintage. And because of that, overall, this is some of Arctic Monkeys' best work in my opinion. And even though I'm not the biggest Arctic Monkeys fan, I can acknowledge how good this album really is. I feel as though Arctic Monkeys fans are going to thoroughly enjoy this project, and this is a project where I feel like if you were to show any music lover this album, they can acknowledge and recognize and respect the musicianship skills on this album. I think the composition highlights and stands out on this album, while Alex Turner does give us timeless vocals. I'm going to give this album an 8.5 8.3 out of 10. My favorite tracks were Perfect Sense, Body Paint, and The Car. But what were your thoughts? What were your favorite tracks? What were your least favorite tracks? Did you love the album? Did you not like the album? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you so much for coming by. Hit the like if you'd like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you love talking music, making music, and listening to music just as much as I do. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at EJSpark1, and as always, you know what it is. It's peace, love, I love s'mores, EJ, out.